この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I am here for Mushishi. Last week we had another pair of excellent episodes, especially the one that we started off with episode 18, about the painter and the mountain. That episode was really freaking good and it resonated with me on a personal level, so what more can you ask for from a show like this? I don't know. It was excellent. I am continuing to get more scared as we get more and more episodes that end on a positive note, that we're going to end up with episodes that are dark and scary and terrifying, but that's the world, and that's the way that Mushishi exists. So, we're here to watch episodes 20 and 21, and let's get to it. Episode 21 was something about ink, I think? There's something about ink, but I don't really remember. We'll have to see what that's about. Our last episode about ink was the Inkstone one, which was weird. Let's go ahead and watch episode 20 of Mushishi and see what happens. I've got the episode up and ready to go. It's sitting at 0 seconds. There will be 2 versions, picture-in-picture in the description, timer on YouTube, beep beep timer, let's go. Okay, let's see where we start. Do we start with Ginkgo or without Ginkgo? Ooh, ink! I suppose? Trying? Whoa. Moved, or is that sweat? Okay, tired. Don't sleep on the paper. Oh, a sea of writings. I thought it was ink when we got the like preview thing. Hello. Oh, hi. Oh, you recognize me. Is this another Mushishi hangout place? Are we gonna find out more Mushishi lore? Huh? Mm. Is she the one who was working in the... Da. Thank you, babushka. To view the archives. What did they record here? Mushi lore? So we're getting Mushishi lore about Mushi lore. Cool. Lots of focus on small. Whoa. Super special secret door. But not secret, just closed off. Wonder if there's like a reason for it to be natural stone. You know, magically, mechanically. I don't know. Okay, down, down, down. Oh, yeah. Uh-uh. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Oh, but they are guides to sealing away Mushi. They're also records of Mushi. Cool. Oh, oh, oh. Super cool. So something's going to be up with Tanyu. Circumstances of birth. Oh. Oh. Ink marked from birth. Ah, but her leg is dead. Her voice actress is something else. So, marked for a grand duty, but also cursed. Yes. Oh. Kinsho no Mushi. Yeah. So this was a Mushi that was out of harmony? Mm-hmm. Out in nature. The forbidden Mushi. Oh. Oh, we got some deep lore. But it was sealed to protect the world. So you are the bearer of this curse. Whoa. Oh. You are the chosen one. Little by little. And that's where we are now? I think so. I don't see her walker. Is she able to walk now? We haven't seen yet. Of course. Hmm. And are the stories the power themselves? I think so. Ooh. Okay. Deeply empathetic child. Wow. And a deeply sacrificing woman. Oh. You went through all that pain, so I can too. Damn. Damn. Oh. Began to realize that all the other storytellers sucked at telling stories? Or how great Tama was? Oh, yeah, that. So that empathy turns on toward the Mushi themselves. Uh-huh. Ooh. Hmm. Ginkgo doesn't often kill Mushi, does he? Right, you speak of things you know not of. Hello, Ginkgo. What's up? Reasonable assumption, then. Hmm. Hmm. I don't want to hear any more stories about death. Oh yeah, I don't really do that. We don't do that here. Suddenly interested. Yeah. Hmm? Ooh, that's a nice sound. Hmm. Hmm. It's a whole lot of scrolls. And don't light anything on fire. Certainly. Yeah. A hoard of forgotten knowledge. Dark, dark, dark. Well then, he's come to the right place. That was a nice little cut. Just the weight shift. I like her. I know she's a little bit depressed, but I like her. Maybe that's why I like her. I don't know. Oh. Oh. No, 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 no. They're eating the paper. They're eating the knowledge. What the what? Which means something to do with her leg, right? Whoa. Great effect. I think she meant you. Yeah. Well, you've lived with a big one in your leg. Yeah, they all froze. Oh. Like bookbinding paste? Okay, what? This is the coolest fucking thing. What? Huh? Huh? Nah. What? Uh-huh, and you identify with it now. Mm. Whoa. Ooh, whoa. Right. Knowledge in, ink out. No, how about some sleep? Okay, we could do that though. Hmm. I was thinking that is that where the ink is coming from that she actually puts on the paper? Hmm. What a burden. What if you don't have descendants? Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hmm. Jesus, they actually have chemistry. What the what? We got a ship. It's setting sail. What? And next is cool sunset. Cotton Changeling. That's a weird title. And this is a weird episode, but a really interesting episode. Tanyu as a character is just alive immediately. The whole episode is so slow and so meticulous and careful with all of this focus on small objects, handles of doorways, parchment being slowly unfurled, um, pulling books off of shelves, all of these slow little moments that make up this whole thing, and yet the whole episode itself just flies by. I don't know where those 20 minutes went. They just disappeared. I guess simply because I'm fascinated, doubly fascinated by the story, the weird mushi that's happening, the incredibly interesting effects that we use to demonstrate like what is done here and how the scribing works, and the characterization and voice acting of Tanyu. All of it is exceptional. Both her younger self, who I think is a different actress, or at least is putting on a voice, and her older self, who is fantastic. Both of the actresses, or one actress, are great. In fact, I want to look up who the voice is for Tanyu. Give me a minute. Okay, so there are two voice actresses in play. One is Tsuzurahara. The ra in there is weird because Tsuzuhara is relatively common, but Tsuzurahara, Miyu, who plays Mo in Ghost in the Shell standalone complex and a couple of other roles, and then Mushishi. And then Ai Kobayashi is the voice actress for most of her, and she plays a few different people, but the one that stands out to me is the Death Records president from Detroit Metal City, which is a great show, and I would have never, ever come anywhere near guessing that that was her, because that's a very different character. We get this character with this huge burden that's not chosen by her, right? A disability to an extent, but one that is also indicative of her like given and forced place in the world, which is interesting and sad, and immediately creates this sense of tension within this character who wants to go outside but kind of can't, and also kind of shouldn't, because a lot of duty rests upon her shoulders. The idea of an ancestor who sealed something away and then their children inherit that burden, that curse, but also that power, that ability, is really interesting and a struggle, but it's also something that I think almost everybody can relate to. We all inherit things from our parents that we like and don't like, or from our grandparents, etc., whether those things are physical or emotional or even non-biological and more familial and traditional. Those are all very real things that we individually have to cope with, but we don't focus on that too much. We don't spend this episode as like, oh, Tanyu is desperate to get rid of her leg. She wants to put it away, but she also grows into realizing how important it is that she does this the right way. Tama as a character is this babushka, this woman who has been through shit. She was a full Mushishi herself, and she retired and sacrificed a lot of herself in order to take care of Tanyu. And we see this just in this conversation that we have between the two of them. We see this deep care and deep love for Tanyu from Tama, and this recognition of that, and this deep empathy that Tanyu herself is capable of. And all of those things are given to us or presented to us over the course of just a couple of little lines that really just spark out with imagination and potential and awesomeness. It's really freaking cool. The way that Tanyu describes Tama's storytelling has so much admiration and love in it. They're not family, but they are family, right? Interesting. I am the reason you were forced to become a Mushishi. Yeah. Immediately she understands her. And recognizing that sacrifice and that struggle in this woman who is caring for her, she buckles down and goes harder on her work, the things that she needs to do. That's so interesting. We also get a good chunk of Ginkgo stuff, not by explaining what Ginkgo does. We know what Ginkgo does. We've watched Ginkgo do what Ginkgo do for 20 episodes, but instead by showing us what other Mushishi do. We've only seen a couple of Mushishi over the course of the show, and we haven't seen this kind of contrast where we show that pretty much all other Mushishi are vermin exterminators. They're exterminators. They get rid of the problem. They kill them. They don't work to help Mushi function in like harmony with humanity and with nature, only raising their heads and only actually doing things when stuff gets out of balance and out of whack. They just destroy the Mushi. And what's crazy is those stories of killing and destroying and sealing Mushi are the ones that are helpful to Tanyu, because they're the ones that help her like seal away the thing that's in her leg, but she doesn't like them. She doesn't like those stories. She's interested in, and perhaps, if I'm not overstepping, attracted to the ideals that Ginkgo presents as a Mushishi who generally doesn't do that and generally tries to harmonize with the Mushi, which, if you think about it, kind of makes sense considering she is a character who has had to make sacrifices and not by choice necessarily, but learn to live with a Mushi that actively impedes her ability to do the things that she wants to do, right? Like, her whole life is dealing with a leg that doesn't function the way that she wants it to because of a thing that her great ancestors did that sealed a goddamn Mushi into it, and it causes her pain to do her job that she must do in order to get rid of the Mushi, right? So she's a person who is used to compromise, who is resilient and used to doing those things. And something about the way that Ginkgo compromises and is resilient and finds different solutions to those kinds of problems is what interests her, even if it's not what helps her. And that's really fascinating. It's really fascinating. So we also have their first meeting, which amazingly happens at slightly past the midpoint of the episode. Like, so much has already happened, and it's also so little has happened. I don't know, man. They managed to make this underground library feel immense in scale as we hold a light up and see these shelves of pages and pages and papers and scrolls of books and books. And we have the Ginkgo freak out as he sees these bookworms, and suddenly this becomes genuinely fascinating and scary. It also mirrors a far previous episode that we had where individual Mushi were like characters on the paper releasing themselves and flying away. That was our first episode, right? I think so. But it's quite scary. It's quite interesting, and yet it's just because Ginkgo doesn't know precisely what he's walked into. This is part of the process. And so we get to see her be really fucking badass in this moment because we don't know what's going on, and just be utterly calm in the face of all of this. And then there's the process of laying out the actual words that she has completely memorized herself. She's hyper competent, obviously. And then there's the way that she and Tama work together in unison to do this. It's so reminiscent of like noodle makers, right? Like maybe a father and son noodle maker who are making soba, right? Where it's difficult to create buckwheat noodles that have a particular process to them, and they just assembly line it, right? Father does this, son does this, one does this, two does this, one does this, two does this. Or like making mochi, or when you see them like turning the mochi and then pounding it and turning it and pounding it, and there's this synchronicity, this like vibe, this working together at something, fulfilling different parts of a role that's necessary to complete a larger task. And that is also in like a tiny microcosm of the whole story of Mushishi that we've had, which is Ginkgo going out into the world and finding the way to set things so that everybody is working together to complete whatever task they're going for. It's so interesting. This episode is so interesting, and beyond just being, ooh, that's cool, the effect of the text on walls is fantastically done and really, really fascinating in and of itself. Something about the framing of this whole shot with Ginkgo here and her here and back and forth, and her asking him to like help her continue and tell more stories is really fascinating. And the whole scene where she is covered in this ink and then lets it flow out of her fingertips, just a couple baker's dozen creative ideas over the course of this episode that are not even the focal point of the episode, because the focal point of the episode is this emotional contact and spark between Ginkgo and Tanyu, and they have a moment that's like all yeah, it's romance. It's romance. It's not almost romance. It's romance. I'm calling it. It's romance. It's happening. It's there. Are we going to get more of it? Probably not. Probably never. Probably never going to see this character again. And yet, while we have had a couple of instances of Ginkgo goes to a place and saves some kid, and the kid's big sister is like, "Oh, why don't you stay?" Handsome white-haired man who knows things about magic and saved my baby brother. And Ginkgo's like, "I can't. I have to go places. I have to." For the first time that I'm aware of, we have a character wanting to travel with Ginkgo. How different is that, right? Because in in exactly the same way that Ginkgo cannot stop moving, he cannot stay in one place. He is restricted by the things he has lost and the things that he has gained and the things that make him who he is as a Mushishi, as we saw during the episode of his backstory. She is restricted by her family and the things that she's lost to Mushi. She can't go places. He can't stay at places, and both of them long for the things that they cannot have, right? Ginkgo longs to stay somewhere. We know that he does. She longs to leave. We know that she does. Maybe it could happen. It won't happen. It won't happen. It's not part of the story. It's not, that's not how this story goes. I know it doesn't. Maybe there's another episode, maybe deep in season 2, where we get to see this character again, but there's no Mushishi story where Ginkgo has a woman follow him and come with him and go on journeys with him. It wouldn't work. So it's dead before it's alive. It can't be, but I want it. And I long for it in the same way that I think Ginkgo longs to stay somewhere, in the same way that Tanyu longs to go somewhere. What a fascinating set of elements brought together into this episode to make it an interesting story. I really like this one. The depth of characterization on Tanyu, just from the scenes that we get of her, from the dedication that we see of her to her work, the amount of work that she puts in for herself and for all sorts of reasons. But like most things in Mushishi, we're left to speculate on reasons behind things. We see actions instead. The chemistry that is immediate between her and Ginkgo, the fantastic Tama, this grandmotherly character who takes care of her, and knows so much, obviously. The little moments, like the moment when she opens the little sliding gate thing to look at Ginkgo, and it's just like, ah, it's you. Oh my goodness, what an episode! What a good one. I like it a lot. I like a lot of things about it, and I like it a lot. Uh, wow. I'm gonna be honest. I started recording this video 3 times before I started actually recording it. I went through the intro and just stopped and was like, I can't record today. So I took a break, took like an hour to do other things and try to get my mind right. I don't know what was up earlier this morning, but I super didn't want to watch anything. I didn't want to record today. And I needed a good episode. I really did. I needed something interesting, and boom, delivered. Thank you, Mushishi. I really appreciate it, because I want to do this, right? I want to do the thing that I'm going to do today, and I couldn't do it. So I just forced myself to do it, and thank goodness, because I got to experience this. How great is that? I love it. Cool. I really like this episode of Mushishi. We're going to watch another episode of Mushishi. Give me a minute to take a break. I'll be back. I'll see you in a second. Peace. All right, welcome back. We're good to go for episode 21 of Mushishi. Let's find out what these cotton changelings are about. Weird title. Let's go. Beep beep timer. Hmm. 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 Did it have green hair? Oh, that's weird. My kids are turning green. What do I do? Hmm. Well, it's weird. He came out as an ear of corn. Okay. Kind of like the root people? Like the ones who are part of the plant forest place? I mean, we've got precedent of that happening before. How dare you insult us? Yeah, that's weird. Hi. Hey, little buddy, you probably need some sunlight. Sure. What did you tell them? You have to plant your children 6 feet underground. Sorry. See, now I'm in a mood. Oh, he got too much water and sunlight. Go for it, man. Oh! What the fuck? That's horror. I mean, you gave birth to a slime monster. I can forgive ya. But then the slime monster comes back as a child? Hi, I'm your son. Watahiko or something? What the fuck? Bruh. Yeah. For sure. And 7 years ago. That might be a stretch. Human? Right. What a gift. What a boon. Oh. So not just sunlight and dirt? uh sure. Oh, so he does like rocks and dirt. Oh, another one? Uh that time we didn't give birth to this one, right? What? Okay, no, we should call Ginkgo. Yeah, that's terrifying. They're like gremlins. Yeah, okay. fully sprouting new ones. That's not normal. That's not normal. Because it's probably a Mushi that's invisible. Once they realize that he's a weird plant man, yeah. Interesting that that name is so close. And it lands on people's shawls. Yup, it ate your baby. Gross. Gross. Yeah, let's have somebody who has Mushi sight take a look. Right. Oh. 100% it is. Oh! It really didn't need a good look. It's like a fungus. It's like a mycelium thing. Oh, they're just here to steal your shit. It fully can, man. I believe Ginkgo. But he's not a child. He's a weird mushroom monster. Okay. Not your kid. This is why. He doesn't exist. He is that Mushi, dude. There wasn't. You never gave birth to a child. Oh, gross. If you don't kill them, you can't have kids. Yeah. How can you say that to a parent, though? Oh, good night. But the same thing will happen. But the same thing will happen. Oh, the whole system will fall away. Right. All right, man. Your life. You'll be free of this weird green child curse? Mm-hmm. Hmm. Hmm. exterminating the ones I'm uncertain of, yeah. Oh man, we have left places and come back to much worse places. And vice versa. So, 3 months. Okay, we got a letter before that. They're fucking rapport sporsing. Motherfucker, you can't talk. Are we gonna get assassinated? We're gonna get assassinated by fucking green children? What the hell? Hi. Uh-huh. Mom, please kill the scary man. Holy shit, seriously. Fucking fuck. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, your wife just fucking stabbed me. Okay. Yeah. Love of a child who is not a child. Holy shit. They've started talking. Right, they're actually evolving. Right, they learn from each other. Fungal network. Ha. Yeah, they grow real fast and then they die. Yep. Fuck. Fuck that. Fuck that. Holy horrifying, man. Or like a parrot of one. Terrifying. Right, they're a fungal network. So they learn super quickly. I mean, it is semi-sentient. Yes. Yup. Nope. Destroy the seeds, Ginkgo. Let's go. Ah, the eldest knew, perhaps. God damn it. Going through Ginkgo's fucking studies. Things are monsters. I mean, they want to live. I understand that, and that's great. Oh. Reasonably so. Hmm. Hmm. Shit. What the fuck, Mom? Yeah, bleeding again. But this will force the seeds to spread? Oh, Jesus. These are like the first truly antagonistic Mushi. Holy shit. They're gonna kill her. Good lord. This is an episode out of a completely different show, and I'm into it. What the fuck? Not going to incinerate it or cut it into tiny pieces or douse it in acid? Why? No, what? Throw that shit in acid. What the fuck? You don't want them being reborn. Oh, motherfucker, he saved them. What the fuck? What the fuck? Yeah. Sell you to a Dashido? Ugh. Does that end? That's end. What? What a creepy episode. I have no idea what the lesson is, if there is one. I have zero clue. I get that Ginkgo, especially coming right off of the last episode, Ginkgo doesn't want to kill things if he doesn't have to, but this one seems pretty fucking cut and dried. Which is what those kids should be, cut and dried. And then incinerated. What the fuck? What the fuck? And next is... impossible to say. It's a pretty simple title. Okay, this episode is the kind of story that could be fleshed out with a bit more horror direction into a feature film. Because it is Ju-on the Grudge level creepy, weird children things that are infesting your life. Like if we slow burned the introduction and it wasn't like, oh, Ginkgo arrives, Ginkgo realizes what's going on, Ginkgo leaves, Ginkgo comes back, right? And we didn't just immediately know that there's something really fucking crazy going on here. We could slow burn that whole introduction with these kids being really creepy and like not knowing why they're being so weird and creepy all the time, and then slow burn introduce the idea that they're like learning from each other and communicating through their fucking fungal network, and turn this into a real genuine horror film with the double climactic moments of the mother whose love for her children is fully outweighs all of her rationality and her ability to understand. Even though she consciously understands what's going on, she cannot divorce herself from the idea that these are her children. And then the climax of the children learn what they have to do in order to survive. This entity that has infested this household learns what it has to do in order to survive, and then lights the house on fire, and there's this whole escape sequence. I see this as an hour-and-a-half feature film that is utterly horrifying and super fascinating, except that the film doesn't end with Ginkgo taking them as liquid people in a jar. It ends with him destroying all of them, and finally the world is safe. Because I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe, Ginkgo. Ginkgo, you can't just carry that shit with you. What the fuck, man? I need a minute. I need a minute to go through the episode and think about this. And try to figure out if there's... Because the thing here is I don't feel like there's a lesson. It's just a really weird, fucking interesting story. And maybe the lesson is about the people and the way that they react to these situations, but I'm not sure. So give me a sec. God, these children are fucking creepy. They're so creepy. Okay, so the thematic things that I think are mostly in play here are there's the imitation of the children, which in and of itself is like terrifying. It's almost like body horror in the same way as like Invasion of the Body Snatchers is body horror. These are people that this family cares about, right? Because they've raised them and convinced themselves that they are their children, but they're not. They're fully not, and we are fully aware that they are not, and Ginkgo tells them that they are not, but it is not something that they want to hear. There's the parallelism between the need of the mushroom colony to protect its seeds, its spores, and the need of this family to protect their seeming children. There's the utter creepiness of believing that these are your kids while they're just manipulating you in order to get resources, which seems pretty clearly to be exactly what's going on. And just the spookiness and horror angles all throughout are amazing. The general direction and the horror elements of this episode are fantastic, and on that note, I want to look up who directed this episode. Okay, both storyboard and direction were by Toshinori Narita. And I'm looking for other horror chops in his history. Rogue Legend of Arslan, Shirobako, She the Ultimate Weapon, production advancement on Perfect Blue, which I would call a count. Some Soul Eater. I'm not seeing a lot, which is kind of surprising. Because there's some seriously good horror directing in this episode. Even up through the scene where Ginkgo gets slow-mo stabbed, and we don't quite reveal precisely what's going on before it happens. Super interesting. All of the scenes of the children wandering around doing child things that are just a bit off, super creepy. Once they start talking, horrifying. The way that we like distance our conversations from Aki, from the wife, the woman, and how she's so often like off center or out of frame during our conversations is really, really fascinating and really interesting, and kind of sets her up as the wild card that will do a wild card thing like this one. And we see this deep desperation in her eyes on a whited out background, right? Like she's not thinking in the world, she's thinking barely, right? She's thinking about her kids. She's in this emotional rush. How utterly horrifying. And so is the father character's like justifications and reasons for trying to go along with his wife. Like that all makes all of the sense in the world. He wants to keep his wife from feeling bad. He wants to protect her. He wants her to be safe and to be happy, and she's been through difficult things. But this is something else. This is literally a fungal infestation of your home, and the mold looks like people and calls you daddy. Kill it with fire, kill it with much fire, kill it a lot. Holy fuck. One thing in this episode that I'm not entirely clear on is the like they forgot how to protect their spores thing, which seems to have something to do with their like gaining the ability to speak, or maybe they say specifically like gaining the ability to speak is the thing that changed it. That's fucking weird. I don't know, man. Yeah, we've forgotten how to protect our seeds. We've forgotten. But they've also evolved beyond the bounds of what they are supposed to be in record and in lore, because every time one of these has occurred and appeared and a Mushishi has come across it, they've eliminated that shit right quick, as they probably should. Ginkgo, because of it, like the way that the family progresses, the way that the story plays out, he fails to eliminate this Mushi in a period of time. And he does something sort of similar to what he did with the guy who tells fortunes, who like could see the future and had the prediction dreams. Ginkgo he errs on the side of letting things play out, and letting people handle their own business and allowing balance. And it seems pretty clear that like this is coming right after the episode where we talk about how important it is to people in Ginkgo's life that Ginkgo doesn't just kill Mushi. And here we have an instance where it seems pretty clear that just killing the Mushi was the right move. But something weird and interesting comes out of it, which is that this Mushi evolves into a thing that can turn into goop in a jar and still form faces and stuff, which, by the way, is creepy in an almost Bale-it level of weird, a la Berserk, just with the stuff moving around and the faces and things. Weird. But it's something new now, and it is conscious and sentient in a way that Mushi have not been. It's also sinister and evil, perhaps, in a way that Mushi have not been, right? Mushi are almost always just doing their thing, right? The thing about this particular Mushi is its thing is infiltrate and suck resources dry and, like, get other people to protect you and be a parasite. It's literally a parasite that's also like a cuckoo that destroys the ovum and becomes your child. So many layers of absolutely horrifying over the course of this episode, from creepy kids being creepy to the body horror of giving birth to something that's not of the same species or even the same fucking like class, order, phylum, family, anything as you. No. To the creepy of these kids who should not be able to talk sitting up and being like, save me, don't kill me, I need to be saved. Absolutely awful. Holy shit, what a roller coaster. Utterly traumatizing. Not a thing to watch while younger. Jesus fuck. What the fuck? I really am interested in this conversation from Ginkgo. It's not our fault. It's not our fault either. And the rationalization that he gives. Why must you kill us? Because you kill children. You eat human children. Gotta get rid of you. It's not our fault either, but we are stronger. And the crazy thing is, in this particular instance, in this particular moment, he's wrong, right? That's what's so terrifying. Ginkgo is confident. He's like, yeah, we're going to deal with this problem. These are just pests. They're creepy and scary, but they are capable of manipulating people, and they are stronger because of it. And that's very fucking scary. Whoosh. Fire. Whoosh. Stabby stab. Holy crap. I thought that she was going to go running and they were going to be like, thanks for all your help, Stab. You've been appreciated. We will use your bodily resources now to grow a new colony. What the fuck? So he gives them just a mineral that he will, like, keep them comfort but not allow them to cause problems. Because when he hands them a green orb, I'm like, don't do that, Ginkgo. Don't let the people who have demonstrated irrational behavior have the thing that might reawaken and just do this all over again. And good on Ginkgo, he doesn't. He instead keeps it for himself. And I think that the reason he keeps it for himself is just his own curiosity. He's just curious about new Mushi behavior. And that's kind of scary as an element of Ginkgo's personality, almost like mad scientist-esque, in that he's okay with letting something pretty definitely evil and weird exist as long as he can study it and find more interesting things about it. Jesus. This is by far the least Mushishi episode of Mushishi, in that so many of the things present in this episode are utterly and deeply different from the rest of the show. Ginkgo's like, I wouldn't call it like out of character or anything like that. It's just there's a stark contrast between this kind of stuff and the last 5 episodes, right? This is some weird stuff. First off, that these are Mushi that actively and intentionally infiltrate and parasitize human families. Creepy as hell. Unlike most Mushi, which are just doing their thing, right? Like, they make a kid fall asleep for half of the winter, but they do it just because that's their natural life cycle and behavior. Likewise, they make a girl disappear, but they do it because they were just fishing for little animals and stuff, and she happens to be a slightly larger animal, right? These are all just normal behaviors that function in concert with nature. This weird mushroom fungus Mushi that turns into people is not normal and not natural feeling. It feels like it crosses a line and thus must be dealt with. And that's an interesting thing to explore and experience with Ginkgo. And he does his best to let it play out. And maybe that's not the best idea. Fascinating, weird, utterly horrifying, well done horrifying, creepy-ass Mushishi episode. Good stuff. I like it, and I hate it. I like that I hate it. Yeah, something like that. Okay, I think we're going to wrap there. I've been Teeaboo. This has been 2 deeply different episodes of Mushishi. one that was lovely and interesting and had a bunch of Mushi lore and Mushishi lore and some characters and maybe even a ship, and then creepy green mushroom fungus children that will fully murder you to save themselves. Oh, okay. I think that's a day. See you next time for Who the Fuck Knows. Peace.